First Lieutenant Clifford Carwood Lipton was a commissioned officer with Easy Company, 2nd Battalion, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, in the 101st Airborne Division during World War II. Lipton was portrayed by Donnie Wahlberg in the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers. On the battlefields of Europe, he was promoted to company first sergeant and ultimately was awarded a battlefield commission to second lieutenant. He said it was the greatest honor ever awarded to him. He eventually earned a promotion to first lieutenant before leaving the Army. Lipton's life story was featured in the 2010 book A Company of Heroes, Personal Memories about the Real Band of Brothers and the Legacy They Left Us. Youth: Carwood Lipton was born and raised in Huntington, West Virginia. His father was killed in an automobile accident when he was 10 and his mother was involved in the same accident and was paralyzed. Since Carwood was the eldest child, she told him to be the man of the family. After completing 1 year at Huntington's Marshall University, he left school due to financial troubles at home and went to work in war-related production. After reading an article in Life magazine on the difficulty of paratrooper training, and how the airborne was one of the most highly trained branches of the Army, Lipton enlisted and joined the paratroops on August 15, 1942 at Fort Thomas, Kentucky. Military service: Carwood Lipton rose through the ranks of the company, eventually becoming company first sergeant after the acting company first sergeant, James D.L., was given a battlefield commission and transferred within the 506th PIR. Lipton was always keeping the men's spirits high, pushing them to their full potential. This was recognized by the officers of Easy Company. He was also known as the Man. Carwood Lipton was the jumpmaster of one of the C-47 Sky trains that the paratroopers used to jump into Normandy. Lipton jumped into Normandy and was able to rendezvous with then First Lieutenant Richard Winters and several other men from the 101st, and 2 more from the 82nd Airborne Division. They were later reunited with several more Easy Company members and worked their way just south of their objective of Canton. During the invasion of Normandy, Lipton was hit by German 88mm shrapnel, but a medic patched him up and Lipton resumed fighting. Lipton was teamed with Sergeant Mike Rowney during the Bra Copyright Court Manor assault, where Easy Company was assigned the task of destroying 4 105mm howitzers that were firing down on Utah Beach. Lipton and Rowney climbed up a tree and sniped some Germans from a distance. Lipton killed a German soldier from the tree with an M1 carbine he had picked up after his jump. Easy Company managed to destroy the 4 howitzers, and Lipton was awarded the Bronze Star as a result of this action. Lipton was also involved in the assault on Canton and was injured by shrapnel in the face and groin, receiving the Purple Heart as a result. Easy Company's slowly depleting ranks became a problem during the run-up to Operation Market Garden, with the vacancies being filled by replacement soldiers. Lipton is remembered by many of the replacement veterans as being one of the very few men who immediately accepted them as true soldiers. Lipton was with Easy Company when they liberated Eindhoven and was part of an advance scout team that scouted the route ahead of the rest of the company. A small team of scouts was on the crossroads in the Netherlands when Private Ali of their squad was badly wounded by a German Model 24 Schelhandgranate and Easy Company was called to action. They were assigned the task of destroying any remaining German resistance at the crossroads. Lipton was not among the original assault team of around 10 men, but joined up the next morning with the rest of the company. Easy Company managed to destroy over 2 companies of SS situated at the crossroads as a result of their surprise attack on the German position. Operation Pegasus was a small operation where Easy Company was to cross the river on boats supplied by Royal Canadian Engineers and bring back over 140 British paratroopers who were trapped when they pulled back from Arnhem. Lipton and First Lieutenant Moose Halliger oversaw the operation, ensuring its success. During an artillery barrage in the woods near Foy, Lipton confessed about laughing as he saw the shells burst, reminding him of his childhood watching fireworks on the 4th of July. Lipton said he wouldn't have laughed if he knew what happened to Joe Toy, who was badly wounded, eventually losing his right leg. While under the newly appointed command of First Lieutenant Norman Dyke during the siege of Bastogne in the Ardennes Forest, Lipton's calm resolve, Mentorship and leadership gave the men hope as he became the de facto commanding officer due to Dyke's incompetent leadership. After Easy Company's assault on the town of Foy, Lipton was told he would be awarded a battlefield commission as a second lieutenant, receiving his official commission in Haguenau. Lipton later witnessed the horrors of the Holocaust at Landsberg, where he and the rest of Easy Company liberated the camp. Lipton assisted Easy Company in the capture of the Hitler's Eagle's Nest winter retreat at Berchtesgaden. While there, Lipton became acquainted with Ferdinand Porsche, who spoke English very well. They ate their meals together while Porsche was in a POW camp. Lipton remained with Easy Company through the end of the war, until the unit was disbanded after the official surrender of the Japanese forces. He remained in the Army Reserve through to the Korean War, but was not deployed overseas again. Medals and decorations. Later years, upon Lipton's return to the United States, he enrolled at Marshall University and completed his final 3 years, graduating with a degree in engineering. Fresh with his degree, Lipton got a job with Owens Illinois Incorporated, a manufacturer of glass products and plastics packaging. He rapidly advanced in the company and by 1952 had become chief operator. In 1966, Lipton moved to Bridgeton, New Jersey, where he became an administrative manager and, in 1971, he and his wife moved to London, where he was the director of manufacturing for 8 different glass companies in England and Scotland for several years. In 1982, he moved to Toledo, Ohio and retired a year later from his post as Director of International Development. Lipton spent his retirement years in the town of Southern Pines, North Carolina. C. Carwood Lipton died on December 16, 2001 of pulmonary fibrosis in Southern Pines, North Carolina. He is survived by his wife Marie and his 3 sons. Clifford Carwood III, Thomas, Michael, 5 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. In the media, Lipton has appeared on 2 separate television shows, providing his own commentary in the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers and the True Story of Easy Company, We Stand Alone Together, The Men of Easy Company. References. Bibliography, Winters, Richard D., with Cole C. Kingseed. Beyond Band of Brothers, The War Memoirs of Major Dick Winters, St. Martin's Press. ISBN 0-425-20813-3. Ambrose, Stephen E. Band of Brothers, Easy Company, 506th Regiment, 101st Airborne from Normandy to Hitler's Eagle's Nest. Simon & Schuster. ISBN 978-0-7434-6411-6. Alexander, Larry. Biggest Brother, The Life of Major Dick Winters, the Man Who Led the Band of Brothers. N.A.L. Caliber. ISBN 0-451-21510-9. Garnier, William J., and Edward J. Hiffren, with Robin Post. Brothers in Battle, Best of Friends, 2 WWII paratroopers from the original Band of Brothers tell their story. Berkeley Caliber. ISBN 978-0-425-21970-6. Brotherton, Marcus. A Company of Heroes, Personal Memories about the Real Band of Brothers and the Legacy They Left Us. Berkeley Caliber. ISBN 978-425-23420-4. External links, website dedicated to Carwood Lipton, Find a Grave, interview with Lipton on Donnie Wahlberg's website.